Hey everybody, what's up? I thought I'd give my thoughts on tonight's Slammy Awards, if you will, last night's Slammy Awards edition of Monday Night Raw. And, well, I have to say it was pretty good. I mean, as I've mentioned before, I haven't really watched Raw that much, because it seems to be the same stuff repeated over and over again. But I have to say this was pretty good. Of course, I will admit I was going to watch it anyway because it's the Slammies. I always have a tendency to want to watch the special events. And, but wow, what an event. I mean, I read basically what was going to happen on my iPod. On the computer, actually, as well as on my iPod. And I didn't know they were going to put so much effort into this. I mean, what a way to have one of your last two Raws of the year. What a way to have one of your last major eventful, if you will, Raws of 2012. I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, you bring back, of course you had the Outlaws. I mean, you knew the New Age Outlaws was going to be there. For some reason, you knew they were going to probably be showing up in some capacity. But to have Ric Flair, oh my God! It's like when I heard this, I was like, "Holy shit! How did they get him?" Because we're all hearing about this lawsuit, and obviously this lawsuit must have got taken care of, or something. And the way they used him, not just to present the award to John, Superstar of the Year to John Cena, but the way they used him afterwards in interaction with CM Punk, Paul Heyman, and The Shield. I have to agree with this internet meme that has Hulk Hogan's face centered around these words. It says, WWE stole Ric Flair from TNA and used him better, or used him more efficiently, or used him better in 15 minutes than they did in 3 years. If you want to look that up, go ahead. You can find it on Facebook. That's where I found it. I think somebody put it. I can't think who it is right now. But they put that on there, and it made me laugh a little bit, but it is true. WWE used Ric Flair better than TNA had when they had him. Basically all TNA wanted Flair there was to do their own recreation of the Horsemen in Fortune, as well as have him have probably one more match with Sting. And that was it. That's all they had Flair there for. And again, WWE did use him a lot better than TNA did. I hate to say that. The show overall was tremendous. You had some decent matches. I'm not going to deny that. And the returns, like I said, were just great. You had Flair come back. You had Tommy Dreamer. I didn't even know he was going to show up, but you had him come back. You had a Triple H return, and you had Ron Simmons. It was just a great show overall. And it definitely showcased some of the newcomers, some of the new faces very well in their own sense. They still showed that the Shield, Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns were still a force, backstage when they beat up on Dreamer and Rodriguez. And, you had to have officials come in and stop them. To me, it was just a tremendous, showing for these young guys. And then, the AJ situation, to me, it's like, I think somebody on the Wrestling News World commented on this after reading the results. They said basically it seems that AJ's being now showcased as what she truly is. She wants to be the center of attention. And essentially, I think that's what we're getting at, is this whole thing with her doing what she did last night at TLC, as well as what she did tonight. It's the fact that she wants to be the center of attention. That she The reason she's hung around with the likes of Daniel Bryan, Kane, CM Punk, and John Cena, is because she wants that spotlight on her. And and to me, I don't know how long they're going to be able to pull off the AJ heel turn. To me, it's like they gotta really pull it off to where it's going to be something that people are going to talk about, something that people are going to, really get behind. And basically, you got to make AJ heel enough. You just can't have her come out there and say, hey, I don't know you or anybody else, an explanation and everything. You can't just have her do that same old tired shtick, I hate to say it, which she says that, the same line that any face says when they turn heel. After their action, after they do something, and it needs explanation. And, we may get the explanation tomorrow night on the Super SmackDown Live commercial-free broadcast, but I really don't know. Again, overall the matches were good. The matches were okay, but the matches, the interaction, everything. It was great to see Triple H back, and I like how you kind of mentioned that when he won a Slammy in '97, it was for best hair. Kind of acknowledging that his hair is now all short and everything. I like how he also acknowledges that we haven't seen the last of the Undertaker, but as they mentioned on Raw, we haven't seen. He didn't mention if we'd seen the last of him. So. And then somebody else added that he said something about Brock and Streak, and I didn't hear that, so apparently somebody made that up. Overall decent Raw, a lot better than I expected. This is the kind of thing that they need to do, not just 4 to 3 months and all that. They need to do this every other week at least. Maybe every 2 weeks or something like that. They need to do something big, even if it's just a regular Raw. They need to do something big that's going to say, hey, you need to watch Monday Night Raw. Hold on, looks like I need to find something. Okay, I'm just checking my time there, folks. But like I said, they need to do something that, every maybe 2 weeks or so, get you talking and get you watching Monday Night Raw. That's what they need to do. Now, one other thing that a lot of people have questioned in the past 24 to now 48 hours, or going on 48 tomorrow. But the one thing a lot of people have asked over the past 24 hours is the sudden turns, and if they're going to work. Like I mentioned, AJ's, it's got to work. It's got to, if you're going to make, it's got to work. If you're it's not that, okay, hold on. It's late and I'm tired a little bit, but basically what I'm saying is that if they want it to work, they got to do more than just having her say, I don't owe you or anybody else an explanation, and I don't care what anybody thinks about me anymore. You can't just have that same shtick used again. You got to do something. And you can't do just more than having her bring in the NXT champion, Big E Langston. Who I admit, I've seen what he can do in FCW and then NXT. This guy is a monster. This guy he's got the look. He's got that it factor. You can see it. So to me, you got to do more than just have her bring in somebody as well. You need to really get her 100% heel if you're going to be behind this. Now, as far as Del Rio turning face, I think we kind of probably should have seen that coming. I mean, when I heard he was turning face, it surprised me. I didn't even know about this. And I was watching Sean's View Entertainment, and he mentioned it. And the thing is, I'm thinking, well, it could work. Maybe, but it could work. But how? How can it work? And my thought is, well, he's accomplished all he can accomplish and done everything he's done as a heel. his last match as a heel was a loss to Ryback. So, there you go. Maybe that's what they needed. Maybe they needed him to go through everybody and face everybody that they thought he could face before doing that. Because I'm not somebody that's in the wrestling business, but as a fan and from what I've read online and from what I hear from other people, there's a certain amount of time that a heel can be a heel before they have to move on maybe to being a face or an in-betweener. Take a look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, for example, The Rock. There's so much you can do with them as heels, then you got to turn them face, and then vice versa. It's like there's so much you can do with somebody as a face, then you got to turn them heel. And I'm pretty sure that's what the situation with Del Rio and heck even The Miz. You've done as much as you can they've done as much as they can with them as heels. Let's see what they can do with them as faces. And it looks like they're going to make them a tag team. I'm not really sure. And then the biggest questionable face turn. It's a slow face turn from what I can tell, but the most questionable is Vicky. Now I'm not sure if this is totally 100% Vicky. Is this going to be a total 100% babyface turn? Or what's going on? But it looks like they're starting to hint at the fact that Vicky's going to go face. I mean, tonight they had her team up with John Cena. If that doesn't tell you that they are probably committing themselves to making her a babyface, then I don't know what. But, it's kind of ironic the way this whole story situation with AJ and Vicky has played out, because basically it starts with Vicky as the heel getting AJ's job, if you will, having AJ removed and her getting the job. And then all of a sudden you end the year by basically, literally, if you will, reversing the roles. You have them basically reverse roles. Now you're having AJ as the heel, and you're having Vicky as the babyface. Or it seems to be. But the question is, a lot of people want to know is, will it work? Well, I think with Vicky because she's such of a heat magnet, if you will, and I'm not saying that as in an attractive way. I'm talking more of a wrestling kind of way, because she's such a heat magnet that it's going to take some time. It's going to be like a slow transition. I mean, just like with AJ, WWE, if they're going to get behind this Vicky Guerrero face turn, what they need to do is have her come out and do something that, even though it's repetitive and it's been done before, you need to have her come out, let her get the excuse me's and the boos thrown at her. Basically, maybe have her do this, have her say, okay, bring it on, and then have her come out and explain her actions as to why she's acted the way she has over the past few years. To me, it would probably help make this transition, grow a little bit, if you will, if you're going in that direction. But again, we don't know. But if you're having her team with John Cena tonight in the main event, then that kind of tells you might be looking towards her being being a baby face. Being a face, if you will. And it kind of does equal out when you have basically your top face diva turn heel. You got to do something in exchange. And basically that thing in exchange is turning your most hated diva into a babyface. And again, with Vicky's history, it's going to be a slow transition. And what I mean by slow transition is it's going to take people time. I mean, if you really want to try to get her over as best you can, don't have her, just turn face in the wrestling mark-out cities, if you know what I mean. You don't have her just turn face or slowly go that direction in the mark-out towns, if you will. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me explain in the second part.